Every Eucharist is new. We can say the same prayers. We can say, I know that gospel. But every Eucharist is a new one. The challenge for us is that we make the Eucharist sometimes a routine, and we lose what the Eucharist itself it is. Sometimes we come to the Eucharist and celebrate the Eucharist only focus on what I wanted. But not open for what the Eucharist offered to us. When we make the Eucharist a routine, or we come all the time with our own list of things, we are unable to let Jesus to surprise us. We miss that part of the surprise of the Eucharist. Because Jesus is always new. Bring something new. But we are not open, and we are a little bit afraid to be open, to be surprised. Because in some ways or in other ways, we like to control life. And we like to exercise that kind of control in everything. And that is where our faith is becoming sometimes so difficult, so tasteless, because we forget that it's always something new for us. We still celebrate in Easter, but sometimes for us Easter is only Sunday, Easter Sunday, a couple days after, and after that we completely forget that it's Easter. We have very strong conscience of Lent. We follow every Friday of Lent, and we are conscious of Lent. But Easter is different. We don't are so conscious that we're still celebrating Easter. We identify ourselves a little bit more by pain, but we are a little bit afraid to identify and see the great news that is coming with Easter and the big celebration that we need to have because Jesus is risen. And we forget that. Why Lent, yes. Why Easter, no? We need to think very hard why we identify ourselves too much with Lent, but we are letting Easter pass by without any special way to celebrate. That is for that reason. Because we don't see anything new. We are stuck in the past, unable to open ourselves for the future and for the moment and for what the moment is bring to us in every Eucharist and in every day. Lord, show us the Father and we will believe. This is what Philip says, and it says to Jesus. How many times we are saying the same thing to Jesus in different ways? Lord, if you like for me to believe in you, first, let me see this. Show me this. Make this miracle. We are Philip. In different ways, try to test Jesus that he is alive. But we have plenty of signs that he is alive, but we are not open to see him in the way that he is speaking to us every day. Difficult to listen, difficult to accept what he's saying to us, difficult to accept a good news. That is the part that is more amazing for me, how difficult it is for us to be open for the good news. It's like in the first reading. The Jewish people was listening to Paul, and they become upset. They become jealous. A great news, but it was not my news that we were expecting to receive. Paul was challenging these people. They were unable to be open to receive the good news. And the good news went to another group. And that is what happens sometimes. And we become jealous sometimes with people who are so happy. And we're looking around and say, why they are so happy? Well, don't ask that. Ask yourself, why I'm so unhappy? Why I am unable to enjoy faith and a smile? Why I always have a face of chili and vinagre? Why? And look at what happened many times in the readings of Easter. Jesus appeared to the disciples many times, and usually, always, they are unable to recognize him. They haven't seen him before. He show up again, and they say, who's this guy? They are afraid. Why? Exactly because Jesus is always new. Is always bringing something new to them and to us. And that is why we need to ask the Lord to open ourselves, to be open to be surprised by him. And make us humble enough that we will be open to receive that. And give us the freedom to enjoy the surprise. You don't like for birthdays or for Christmas that someone come before the birthday telling you what will you receive as a gift. Oh, don't tell anybody, but you will get something for Christmas that you like it, that is this and this. That will be your surprise. That will not surprise at all. The beauty is to see the face of the person who, when received the gift, open and is a completely surprise. How happy you become when you are able to surprise someone with a gift and see the reaction, the joy, the tears, and everything coming with that surprise. And you can smile and can say, I did it. We like, but with Jesus, we're afraid. We're afraid to let him surprise us. We need to ask why. The Mass is Jesus himself who speaks to us through the readings. What he is saying me today, how he's speaking to me today, how I open to receive him and let him to transform me in the Eucharist. How much I am so happy and anxious to receive him and let him to do things that I need to be done in my heart. How grateful I am for the celebration of the Eucharist. How joyful I am in expectations to come and to receive him. Listen to him and receive him. Many of you are parents. And you very well know how difficult that it is to instill in your children faith. Each child brings their own challenges. Some of them, when they are small, they like to be priests, bishops, and cardinals, and popes. And you applaud them. And you bring everything that they wanted to look like pope, like priest, like everything. Once they become teenagers, everything flows. Everything disappears. How difficult it is to help the kids to believe. That is what happened, the same thing in our church. In the same way that it's difficult for the parents to instill their faith in the hearts of the kids, is the church in the same challenge with each one of us. Because we like to hear what we want to hear. And that is not in the way that Jesus acted. That is not the way that Jesus liked to do things. If you see me, Phil, you are seeing God. What we see and celebrate in the Eucharist is Jesus himself in a very mysterious way. But it's a mysterious way that we are challenged to believe with our hearts. Let our heart be free to believe. Let our heart to be free to experience what we celebrate. What we celebrate is life, love, and mercy in every Eucharist. What we need to do, let your heart to be free. As you are in the moment, this is what you need to be in every Eucharist. It's not a place to come and process like a saint. It's a moment in which come all of us as sinners, looking for the medicine that we need to be better. It's not to chastise us ourselves. It's to be open as we are sinners to receive that beautiful mercy that is coming to us in the Eucharist. And to renew ourselves and be healed for what we celebrate. Humility is needed. What we needed is to be who we are in our own lives, in our own reality. And God, through Jesus in the Eucharist, we will be able to transform your history. Act in the moment that you're living. And let Him do the job that He needs to do with you. Please, I say one time here and I repeat that today. The transformation begins with ourselves. The freedom that we experience, the healing that we need to have to be able to share that with another ones. The disciples have the experience to see Jesus alive. But every Eucharist sometimes for us is the prayer for someone else's conversion. Not me, because I'm fine. I don't need that conversion, Lord. My mother-in-law, she needs a lot. You see, it's a prayer for someone else who needs to be healed. Someone who needs to be loved. Someone that not me. What are you doing here? If you don't need anything, what are you doing here? It's each one of us that we need to live that process of Easter. The Easter is the life of Jesus who transformed us in a ways that we will be surprised and never can imagine that we had all that in ourselves. but we were so afraid to let it go. Let it go the control that we exercise in our own lives. So powerful that we control everything, and we try to control him in the way that I want him to do things on me. You see that? No, we don't give room for him because I control him. I like to control him. Jesus is always giving us signs. But we are so blind looking in one direction that we are missing completely all the blessings that he is bestowing us every day. And the best one is the gift of gratitude. How grateful are we? We know how to ask, but we are very, I don't know if I can say that, to say thank you. Asking. But a grateful heart sometimes is not there. And when we forget to say thank you, we think that we deserve everything. And when we think that we deserve things in my life, I never appreciated what I receive. We need to celebrate. It's a celebration of life and love and mercy. It's life. How we celebrate the gift of life. And the gift of life is a sign completely of the love of Jesus for each one of us. That love, who is the power who ignites our heart to create a beautiful, great relationship with Jesus, a friendship. Jesus is looking to have a friendship with us, become friends with us. And when you have a good friend, you can enjoy everything in the company of your friend. How great it is with a great friend, a good friend, to sit down and have a cup of coffee. And you, our friends, are seated there, having a cup of coffee, sipping, boom. Nothing is saying. And the only thing that you are doing with a cup of coffee is smiling. And sipping again, boom. You spend 1 hour, nobody say anything. And at the end of that hour, they say, goodbye, it was great to see you. When we can come together again? Nobody say anything. You look at each other, and at the company of each other, let the coffee taste so good. And when you see each other, you enjoy the company, and that was enough. But how many times we invite Jesus for that cup of coffee, to sit down with him and be with him and relax with him and looking for the next one. When we come again, we can be together again. And that is what happened in every Eucharist. It's he himself who is so anxious to love us. He's so anxious to consume us in his love, to transform us and give us the freedom that we need to have to live our lives in fullness. He wants us to be touched by his love, to heal the wounds that we have, the memories that we carry, and give us the freedom to see life in the way that he sees life. He's looking for us for that moment in which we will let him to hug us and give us a kiss, to transform us. our hearts need to experience freedom in His love. That is faith. It's being transformed by Him with His life and His love, and become more and more with the freedom that we need to have, to let the people see that something is happening in me. And they will ask you, what is going on with you? You look so weird. And you can say, yes, I'm very weird because of love. The beginning of the conversation. The beginning of big transformation. Faith never can be imposed. Jesus always offers us and waits for us to say, okay, we can start to walk together. He respects our freedom. He respects us. And He waits for us to say yes. We continue this beautiful celebration. Let yourself be who you are. Let yourself be seen as you are today in this moment. And ask Him, I'm afraid to be touched by you, but try. If you're afraid, say, Lord, try. Okay, we can start to something. Try. The beginning of a new relationship with Him. The true experience of Easter. The true experience of life that all of us were searching and looking for, but afraid to give up and let Him to be in charge.